My name is Brian Whittaker. I'm the Chief Executive of the Business Trust, and thank you all for being here today. I'm here to report to you on the work of the Business Trust over the last year, and in doing that, I would like to put this into context. During his budget speech earlier this year, the Minister of Finance gave what I thought was a really interesting description of the global crisis. He said that as a global motor manufacturer cuts back on production, so on the other side of the world, the maker of catalytic converters in Uitenhage finds that their orders have dropped. And as a consequence of that, the miner at the platinum mine in Rustenburg finds that there is less platinum to sell. And eventually, the lady who sells food to the miners at the mine gate takes home less money every month. You know, as South Africans, if you were to ask us to create lists of what should be done, we're quite good at that. If you were to ask us to convert those lists of what should be done into some kind of policy, we're not bad at that. We're even quite good at developing the strategies. The problem arises when you get to the point of finding practical ways of doing what we all know needs to get done. It's the practical, operational stuff that trips us up. And so part of the message that we have to give here is that we have to find those opportunities that are real, that we can act on, that we can act on quickly, and that we can act on together. Now, the Business Trust was created just about 9 years ago in order to help business and government work together in areas of common interest to accelerate the achievement of national objectives. We have, for the last 9 years, been trying to put to the test our ability to work together. We often describe our positioning in society by being in the center of those two circles. So on the one hand you have business, on the other hand you have government. In the center there's an overlap. Not all of what we do overlaps. There are times at which business does things that government doesn't do, and vice versa. And indeed there are times at which business and government are quite properly in conflict. But there is a space in the middle where there are common interests and where we can be working together to accelerate the achievement of national objectives, and that's the role of the Business Trust, is to help that to happen. Let me go on and say something about resources as we report back to you what happened with the funding of the organisation over the last year. Over the last year, when we compare 2007 to 2008, funds raised increased from 100 million to 136 million, interest earned from 17 million to 21 million. Funds paid out to projects increased from 94 million to 160 million, and cash reserved for projects increased from 231 to 268 million. So there was encouraging growth in all of those indicators. Where did the money come from? Again, we can report this year that there was quite a good balance between funding through our books from business and government, 65 million from business and 71 from government, plus interest and reserves. And then that was played out across that range of programs that I was speaking about a moment ago, with the bulk of the funding going to the Tourism and Enterprise Partnership. And that's actually where the bulk of the government funding is currently going as well. We have now a long-term agreement with the Department of Environmental Affairs and Tourism to develop that program. It forms the foundation of South Africa's tourism enterprise development strategy. So our task, as I was indicating earlier, is to develop sectors in which growth can be accelerated and shared, build capacity to sustain that growth and reduce poverty. Tourism BPO are those sectors, the capacity building is skills and infrastructure, and the poverty reduction work is public goods and community investment. I suppose if there's one single big lesson about this work, it is that ultimately anybody who tries to intervene in order to accelerate the achievement of national objectives has to understand that those objectives will ultimately be met by either the market or the state. There is no point in trying to create small isolated activities that can't connect one way or another with the market or the state. South Africa and the rest of the world is heading into an extremely difficult time. Conditions are going to get worse for most people and very much worse for poor people. If we're to come through this, what we're going to have to do is capitalize on the opportunities that come our way. We dare not let opportunities pass us by because they're going to be few and far between.